What are you guys talking about up here?
Where I'm talking about this podcast. I know the hosts. Welcome to You Do, a podcast where we explore everything queer, Asian, and identity and get into everything that you do.
I'm your host, Vince Buendicho.
And I'm Mathew Vo. Welcome, everyone. This is our Mother's Day edition. Yeah, there's a lot to get into. We've both had really crazy weeks.
Yeah.
And it feels like we haven't done this in a while.
That's exactly what we were saying before. We were just saying that I just had this panic attack of like, oh my God, are we filming again? When are we filming? Has it been 2 weeks?
I know.
Because you've always been on the go.
I just don't know how people do this like every week.
It's literally what they do for their jobs.
Yeah, and they get paid.
This is just a side quest.
For now.
For now, it's going to be a main quest, hopefully soon.
This episode is a little bit unconventional because we have a really special guest. My mom came into town, and she's, I guess, our first in-person interview. So we'll get into that a little bit later on. With every episode, we start with how do you do? So, Vince, how do you do this week?
I can see a lot clearer now because I got these new binoculars that actually makes me look like Edna Mode. Now that I think about it,
Edna Mode or Kwan.
No,
everyone used to tease me back then when I used to look like Kwan, and now who's looking like
you literally had the exact same replica of his glasses, his hair, and his style at the time, which was, I don't know if you were like looking up to him as influence, but it was very similar, like the look. But aside, I got my new frames. I'm very excited about them. I got like 2 new frames. The sales lady like upsold me. Is that the term? Where she kept being like, you can, you look good in that one too. Get that one. And I was like, of course I do. Thanks. And a few $100s later, I'm like, I overspent on these. I've been really great. It's been a very rushed few weeks. I feel like it just went by so quickly. Like we were saying before, I feel like things were just happening so fast, and then I hadn't had time to like reflect and kind of just like take it all in. I'm hoping, because the weekend is going to be a bit like dull in terms of the weather, so I'm hoping to kind of just like relax and just have like an R&R situation.
It's like the start of summer soon.
Yeah, I know, and it's getting really warm, which has been really nice. I feel like my skin is just enjoying this weather.
I'm so excited for summer.
Yeah, I'm excited to get my color back. But yeah, I'm just catching up with a lot of people too. They're going into, a lot of people in Australia are going to their winter. So I think everyone is also going to that phase of like, being a bit more of a recluse, and hence a bit more like, homebody. And it's like nice to catch up with them because they're just like having a slower pace, and it's nice.
For sure.
How about you, Matt? How do you do? It's been a very busy couple of weeks for you too.
Yeah, it really has. I think since our last episode, I celebrated my birthday. My mom came into town. We went on this like long road trip up to Salt Lake City, visited Zion National Park, Bryce Canyon, Grand Canyon, just all the canyons.
Gorge.
I know, it was just beautiful. It really was beautiful.
Yeah.
Even though it was a lot of driving, but it was really nice just to have like one-on-one time with my mom, and we just visited places that we both had never been to before, and she definitely wanted to see Grand Canyon while she was here. So I'm just like very grateful that I did get to spend this time with my mom.
Yeah.
So we're recording this a few days before Mother's Day. She leaves the day after Mother's Day, which when I booked her flights, I didn't even think that she was wanting to stay till after Mother's Day, and it all worked out, and I'm glad we have this time together. Yeah, it has been a crazy couple of weeks, but it's been so fun, and yeah, it's been really, really, really great. I took my mom out to a park close to us, did like a little bit of an interview for this episode, and so we kind of get into her journey to motherhood. As you all know, like I am an only child, so raising me must have been
It was a riot.
Yeah. Just a bratty kid now. We talk about her journey to motherhood. We kind of get into her resilience and the things that she's been through, as an immigrant mother, but also me like coming out to her and how that gets us a little bit closer in our relationship. And then just like she talks about her definition of a good life and where she is now in life and where our relationship is now, especially being so far away from each other.
Yeah.
So hopefully you guys enjoy this piece. We'll kind of reflect on this after. Hi, Mum.
Hi,
Welcome to You Do. First of all, I want to introduce you to the podcast and let everyone know that you came to visit me in America for my 30th birthday. We have kind of been on this 1-week road trip together up to Salt Lake City. Where did we go? We went to Zion. We went to Zion and we went to Bryce Canyon.
Yeah.
We went to Grand Canyon, just all the canyons.
Yeah.
We went to Antelope Canyon. It was beautiful, and I'm so glad that you are here for my birthday. And this Sunday, we're recording this, is going to be Mother's Day. Yeah, I forgot that you were going to stay here till after Mother's Day, and I'm glad that you're here. For all the listeners that don't know, do you want to tell them where you grew up and how your journey is to get to Australia?
I grew up in Cà Mau, Vietnam, and when I was 22 years old, I left Vietnam by boat with my younger sister. And that time, I remember, oh my God, I miss home very much. Only 9 months in the refugee camp, and then my older sisters sponsored me to Australia.
What year was that?
It was in 1987.
1987. My mom is the 8th sibling out of 10 siblings. I know we're very close. You always talk about your journey in Vietnam and how like grandma passed away really young. Speaking of Mother's Day, like what was your mom like? What was Bawai like?
I remember when I was only 13 and she passed away. She was a very, very kind of person and caring for other people. And I remember once she have visitors, and she very
hospitable,
yeah,
like very caring for others.
Yeah. And I asked her, why you very kind? She says, if other people she feed, they remember, but her own child they don't.
Right.
Yep.
So she helps other people a lot.
Yeah.
How old was grandma when she passed away?
She only 49.
She was 49.
Yep.
And how old were you?
I was 13.
13. That's very young. That's very young. Like when you became a mom yourself, what lessons did you take from her, or what lessons did you take from other sisters in the family about motherhood and becoming a mom?
When I left Vietnam, all the sisters still not married yet, so I don't know the other sisters become a motherhood, but I learned from grandma about the person she is. She's always very calm and kind and honest. So I learned a lot from her. I think I become the person now.
I feel like it was very tough back then, caring for 10 children, where you only have me,
Yes.
one child. What about like like strictness to your children? Like, card? Was that ever a thing that you put onto me because of grandma? Or, I mean, I never got to meet grandma, but do you think you were a strict mother?
You know why I laugh? Because when I was when grandma passed away, and I was very lucky to live about few months with grandmother. My grandmother. Oh my God, she's very, very strict.
Your grandma?
Yeah, she very strict. When I finished school, got home, she says, "Soon, you need to stay home doing the short job,
Yeah.
and if finished, you have to learn from your study at school." She never let me go out.
So
Good friend.
grandma was very strict, but your mom wasn't
No,
strict. She
no.
was more
Yeah, she
more relaxed.
yeah, she more relaxed.
Do you think you're more like your grandma or more like your mom?
Yeah, I I think I strict like my grandma. That's why I strict with you when you were young. I don't think you don't remember. Do you remember?
I don't feel like you were a strict mom. Like to this day, I don't feel like you're strict.
When you was young.
Maybe you were like, yeah, maybe when I had my my moments, my moments when I was young, but like I don't ever think you were like mean as a mom for no reason.
Yeah.
You never made me do anything that I didn't want to do. It was just like if I was disrespectful to someone else, or if I had a tantrum or something with you and dad, then that's when you were strict. But it wasn't ever like I have to do this or I have to do that. You kind of just let me do my own thing.
Yeah.
I mean, now you still let me do my own thing.
Yeah, because you grow up now. You grow up now. You very, very responsible.
You think I'm
person.
responsible?
Yeah.
Do you think I was a responsible kid?
Yep, you are. You were.
But do you think I had to be a responsible kid, or was I allowed to be naughty?
No, I think your personal is a very special kid when you were young. Yeah. You very, very special kid. I remember when you were about 12 years old or 10, and your excursion, at school, you do everything yourself. You prepare everything. I was surprised because you were young and you know how to take your clothes and everything for your personal to the excursion. I was very surprised. You were very responsible kid.
I feel like because you and dad had so much other things to do, you both worked really, really hard to like put me into a good school and to take me to tutoring, and I had to study really hard when I was a kid. But I think a part of me also, not that you ever made me feel like I wasn't allowed to be a child, but it had to be, I think I grew up a little bit quicker than I wanted to. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But so I think now when I moved to America, I feel like I can make mistakes a little bit more and be a little bit more childish because I didn't have to be a responsible child anymore. I can make mistakes, I can just make mistakes and whatnot. I want to ask you, like, what is the most challenging part of being a mum and working really hard as an immigrant mum, but also balancing a business and your life?
I always focus at the moment. I never think a lot, but at the moment, I think work and balancing to raise a kid. It makes me happy. If anything happen, we need to deal with it. I don't think anything else. Only family and work. That's it.
We have to
So,
deal with it
yeah.
in the moment.
At the moment, yeah, I don't think anything future or anything, but I just focus at the moment.
Do you think I was a tough kid?
No, I thought myself, oh my God, this boy is very good boy. When you were young, you never done anything bad to parents. You always. I remember when you was about 7 or 8 years old on Mother Day,
Yeah.
and you rode a bicycle to McDonald's, and
Oh, yeah.
and brought some breakfast. And when I wake up, I open the door. I saw, oh my God, you already standing there with a tray with flowers in the gardens, and I was surprised and emotion. Yeah, and I thought, oh, this boy very young, very small, but he already know that. No one teach you. I don't
Yeah.
know why. And I thought, oh, he was very good kid. Yeah, I've seen that. I think you all the time you was a good kid.
I guess, like, what kind of hopes and dreams did you have for me as a baby?
I always speak to your father. We hope if you become high education, what a high education is excellent. If not, the basic is a good person. Yeah, honest and caring towards people. That's
So
it.
you don't care if I fail in my
No.
career
No,
or whatever.
I don't care. I pray with the God. This child, my child, have to be a good person. That's it. I don't need. I don't care if you are successful. It's good. If not, it's okay.
I came out to you in, I think, when I was 20.
When you just finished the
University.
Yeah.
I think I was 21. Is there a moment in our relationship that you felt like made us closer?
Yes.
As adults? Do you think that?
Yes. It's make our relationship closer because you told me all things you happen with your mom.
I could be my true self with you.
Because you tell me the truth of you, and that's why I feel you are very honest with mom. That's why I love you more than before.
I guess, did it take time for you to adjust, or you were okay with it from the beginning?
I have to tell the truth.
Yeah, you can be honest.
I don't want to tell lie.
Yeah.
Of course, I really, really want you to get married and have children. But when you told me you come out with me, and I'm not surprised, because when you was young, every time I go for a party or something, you take care of me. Mom, you need to wear this, you need to wear that. You can't wear this shoe. You need to buy a younger shoes. So I thought, I'm not surprised.
It's from the very young age, from the very beginning. I took care of your looks.
Yeah.
I was your stylist.
Yeah.
To this day, I am your stylist.
And you know what?
What?
I in that time I was happy because your dad never look at me and say, "Oh, Sung, you can wear this, you can wear this."
He didn't care.
He didn't care.
Yeah.
But when you grow up and then you say, "Mom, I like this shirt on you. I like this dress on you." I say, "Oh my God, my son is very take care of me."
But you never thought that I was gay until I told you.
I still thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still thinking, but
Uh-huh.
I hope you are not.
Well, I can still get married and still have kids. It's just a little bit more complicated. Just a little bit. Talking about getting married and having kids, you always remind me of like the word Yuing in Vietnamese, which means kind of fate, letting fate happen, letting the universe take care of you, the time and the fate that things will happen for you. And I feel like I trust that a lot more now as an adult. How did you learn about it, or what made you believe in Yuing?
When I was 23 and somebody asked to marry me, and that time I thought, oh my God, I'm so young, I cannot marry only 23 years old. And after that, when I arrived to Australia 6 years later, I cannot love anyone. I don't have any feeling with them
Yeah.
until I meet your dad straight away. And that's why I think it's not easy from Duyên nợ.
From fate.
Mhm.
Okay. So I should just keep waiting.
Yep.
The other thing you always tell me is tới đâu hay tới đó, which means wherever it takes you, or like just go with the flow. And I always use that as like whenever I have a bad day, or I lose something, or I don't get a job that I wanted, or a project that I wanted, I always think of that as like, okay, this is part of my journey. It's not too serious. I don't have to take life too seriously sometimes. What was the biggest kind of lesson for you growing up?
Yeah, I want to share with you when I had 10 years difficult time. 10 years difficult time. God give me a strong personality. I always focus on the difficult time. I don't think anything else. Just focus and think at the moment, and helping people, love people like you love yourself. And then after that, everything goes smoothly. And now I can't ask for anything else. I'm truly very happy now. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm really proud of you. You're like the strongest person I know.
I think back before, I can't believe it. Now I've got beautiful life now. As your son, the person you are, I'm very happy the person you are.
Thank you.
And your dad is very, very, very good. When the difficult things will pass, absolutely, you will be bright. And you need to be a good person, and then the God will be love you, look back to you, because you do the right thing. That's why you need to do that, and now you deserve it.
One thing we always talk about is like everyone on this earth having the same amount of suffering, no matter where you come from. And it looks like in different types of suffering. I guess what is the most like proud part of your life right now? Because you're going to school, you're doing presentations at school in English. You never had that opportunity ever. You're going to the gym, you have so many friends. Like, what are you most proud of right now?
at the moment I'm very proud of myself because I can pass the difficult time for 10 years.
Yeah.
And now everything like happy, very happy. I have time to study and I have time to go to the gym and sometimes the yoga finish and relaxing times.
Yeah.
I think, oh, soon you are deserve now very, very relaxed and happy life now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you wish for anything in the future for yourself?
No, I don't think I don't want. I don't think I can ask for anything else. I'm very happy now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
You've overcome a lot of difficult
Yeah, a very good time.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now still worry about you, but
You don't, why?
because you live far away from me, that's why I still worry.
Yeah, but I call you every day.
Uh,
One day when I have children, what is something you think I should teach my children?
I believe you are a very, very good person. So I am not worry anything else.
Yeah.
The way you live like me. So you should teach your kid like me teach you.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So
So you trust that I'll be a good parent?
yeah.
Okay. That's sweet. What is something you're proud of our relationship?
Because you call me every day and everything happened to you, you still tell me.
Yeah.
So I
don't really hide anything from you.
Yeah. So that's why I'm very happy. Yeah, we are very close, like a friend, not
Yeah.
like mom and son.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We are best friends.
Yeah.
You cook for me and I'll style you. I know that you're leaving back to Australia on Monday. Being here for my birthday, going on a road trip with you for a whole week, exploring new cities together, eating food. I'm very grateful that you did come for my birthday. It's just this is something I'll remember for the rest of my life. I want to wish you a happy Mother's Day. I wish you good health and more good memories, more traveling, more exciting things for you in the future.
Mm-hmm.
I can't ask for a better mom, a better friend.
Thank you very much for take mom to everywhere. Yeah. If I don't have you, my life is not very nice. Yeah.
If you don't have me, you wouldn't have Botox.
Yeah.
Getting Botox.
I think when I have you, and my life is changed. Yeah, a lot change a lot, because I was sad before, but now you grow up and you brought mom everywhere, and you are a good boy. So thank you very much.
Okay, I love you. Welcome back. Yeah, I feel like my mom was really nervous to do the interview because she doesn't speak English as well as she wants to.
Yeah.
But she goes to like a community college back home to study English, and she was telling her teacher that she was about to do this interview. And I think like she did an amazing job. Like,
yeah,
for someone with, that only finished grade 8 of school back in Vietnam, she's incredible. She's like my best friend. So
yeah.
I want to talk a little bit about your mom, Vince. Like, what was your relationship like with her?
My mother, like I think like most middle child or middle children,
Yeah.
I felt like I was very much geared towards to appeasing my parents in a certain way. You either act out or you like you overachieve, and I definitely filled the role of the overachiever just to get any kind of attention. But no, my now like just kind of reflecting back on how I grew up, and like looking back into how my mother raised me. So just for context, my mom's name is Marites, but everyone calls her Baby or Bebe.
Bebe.
Baby, Bebe. Um, and like I have always known her to be very, again, like super resilient, very headstrong, and just like is a bit like fearless.
Yeah.
Um, which I know that she would not say that about herself, but that's how I see her.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she corralled like literally 4 kids. Like it takes a village to raise one child. Like, can you imagine dealing with like 4 children? And
For
then
sure.
especially, yeah, she had like, I wouldn't say she had like an iron fist in terms of like disciplining us, but she definitely had a very authoritative kind of figure, but at the same time, the kind of like compassion and like warmth as any kid would want growing up. Also had to like at the same time, like there's a, especially when we were in Australia, um there was a lot of times that we would kind of clash just because I was going through my own things. And there's a few
Mm.
things that I actually regret um, in life. And there's actually two that comes into mind. The first time is when I kind of, it actually just made me kind of like really sad just because
Mm.
I remember we were like in primary school, and I know trying to assimilate to like a new culture and stuff, you kind of like I wouldn't say let go of your culture, but you know, you want to embrace as much of the Australian culture as possible. So, and I wouldn't say I was like ashamed of my mom for kind of being there, but um, kind of ignored her when we were walking along like school hall or something, and just because I didn't want to be
Mm.
like, you know, I don't even know how to describe it, but I just walked away, and then like she kind of just reminded me like how that made her feel, and for the longest part, I was like, ugh, like this that made me feel like shit as a child just because of like, you
Yeah.
know, this is like your mom, this is like everything that you're like she literally raised you, right? And then like for me
Yeah.
to do that as a child, it's kind of just like one, I was going through my own things of being like, oh, I'm not Australian enough, or I want to be
Oh
as
yeah.
Australian as I can be.
I just feel like this is something that us as like first gen, like Australian, Filipino, Australian,
Yeah,
Vietnamese, things that we have to kind of deal with because where our identities are so like lost in
yeah,
a new culture. And I'm sure your mum's identity felt that way too, but for us, like growing up being raised in this Western society, we don't know really, as kids, we don't know how to deal with it. And so there's
yeah,
moments like that, I think, which, you know, looking back now, we regret, but we're children. We really don't know how to navigate this
yeah,
landscape of identities and mixed cultures and like who we are. So I totally hear you, and I feel like I would also like cry in that moment, like thinking about
yeah.
it too.
It was definitely a moment that I was like, I now moving forward kind of look back and be like, I need to be better than that. I need to kind of elevate my culture, but also just like my mom in general, right? And then the other thing that I can think of is like we were talking about earlier, how your mom is taking classes to better herself in like speaking English. And like there was a time where I made a comment about my mom's capability of speaking English, comparing her to Manny Pacquiao. I don't know if you know who he is. He's like a really famous Filipino boxer. So he has a very
Oh.
distinct way of speaking, has a very thick accent. And I
Mhm.
think that really like offended her. And I thought I was just making like a joke, but it actually really offended her. And I was just like, you know, all these things that you're just like, oh man, like I thought she
Mm.
raised me, and yet I'm the one that's like inflicting this kind of, you know, emotional pain that just like from then onwards, those two things just kind of like ruminate in the back of my head. I'm just being like, I need to be better than this. And
Have
I think
you have you talked to her about it?
yeah, like I've spoken to her many times about it, and just kind of like how very apologetic I am. And I think again, like just trying to move forward with it and just be like any mother that I greet now, I'm gonna treat with the most utmost respect and
Yeah.
utmost like love and like affection, just because I'm like I should treat everyone like that, right? And also especially my mom. So
Yeah.
like
In
my relationship with my mom has been very great. Also, as when I came out, it's been very like
yeah.
supportive. Like they literally screamed and cheered for me, and I was like, that's the
Oh my
best
gosh.
thing I could
That
have ever
is.
asked for parents.
I just feel like, yeah, you should definitely give yourself, your child self, some
Yeah,
grace, because we were just figuring ourselves
just
out. So
children.
we're just children and we don't know any better. But
Honestly,
it's just,
yeah.
yeah, we don't know any better. And I never, I never felt like I was ever ashamed of my mom. I think growing up as a kid, I always felt protective of her
Mhm.
against other people that maybe took advantage of her, or took advantage of her, not speaking English or not knowing English that well. So I always never felt shamed that she was
Mhm.
from a different country. I think it was always just like, if people start talking condescendingly to
Yeah,
her, I would point that out to her. I wouldn't really confront
yeah.
that person, but I would say, Mom, that was like kind of
That was rude.
racist.
Yeah,
That was
yeah,
like my microaggression. Like,
yeah.
but for them, they don't really see it that way. They just don't really care. But I think as growing up as like first gen, it's hard to like distinguish what's what. And
Yeah.
I always felt protective of my parents in that way.
My
Yeah.
dad has been very good about that, because again, like we were children, didn't know any better, but he would always be very quick with like pointing out that that person was very condescending, or that's a very rude comment, or like because he just didn't take any shit from anyone, which is something I
Yeah.
really admire. Um, and my mom also just is very like innocent. So my dad does the protector, kind of just like would do the same thing. He'll be like, yeah, that was, but he is also very confrontational.
I mean, I
So
feel like your parents are quite young, so I feel like
yeah,
they kind of can see these things a little bit clearer.
yeah,
Whereas my parents are a little bit older, so I kind of have to like guide them a little
yeah.
bit more. What is something that you understood about your mom more as an adult?
Now as an adult, and now that I kind of, whenever we ask questions about, oh, what were you like at this age, like I'm now turning 30 in like 2 weeks. Ew, you're 30, Matt.
I know.
Sorry, just got distracted by that.
Call me daddy.
Yeah. Ooh, or mommy.
Or
Um,
baby.
yeah, Phoebe. Um, like she had to grow up at a very young age, like mature from a very young age. And it was a different times back then, right? Like I can't remember how old was she. I think she was 23 or 22 when she had her first child or second child. But they were very young, and my dad was like 17. So
Wow.
and
Underage.
yeah. Oh my god, controversial. So like they didn't have time to literally be children and be young
Mm.
adults and be, experience this life that we are now experiencing. Like we are so privileged again to be having this life that I can literally be like, I don't need to think about children right now. I don't need to, provide for a family. I'm providing for myself. And providing for myself, I realize is very expensive. So providing for 4 kids
Yeah.
at my age right now, are you kidding me?
It's
It's crazy.
insane. I think that
Yeah.
meant we've had to kind of adjust that mentality.
Yeah.
In our interview with my mom, we talked about like getting married and having kids, and
Mhm.
I th- I think at the end of the day, it's like, as long as we're happy, that's really
Yeah.
all they really care about, and like happy and healthy. I think
Yeah.
that's what they want for us,
Yeah.
But I can't imagine having kids like at 21, 22.
It's a bit wild to think. So when they got to Australia, like, and now my dad's thing is always like, just graduate, whatever it is you want to do, whatever it is that you want to do, just be passionate about it. And then that's it for me. Like, literally, you can do whatever you want. And then now that
Mm.
all of us have done that, they're like in their, I would call it like their really childish era, because they
Yes, they
sometimes do the
can.
most like you just question and be like, why did you do that? Like, that, like you kind of not treat them like children, but you're just like they sometimes act like children, and you're
Oh
just
my
like,
gosh.
are you just reclaiming your youth? And I'm here for it. Like, take as many vacations as you want. Eat the most stupidest stuff that you want. Like, just, my mom would spend sometimes so many hours in like the iPad, just being like an iPad kid. And I'm like, Mom, you need to go outside. I'm like, like parenting my mom. I'm just being like, we need to
Isn't
do
it
this or do
isn't
that.
it crazy that the tables have turned? It's
The
kind of
tables,
like it's kind
how
of
the
like
turntables.
yeah. I mean, I think growing up, I think I've always had to be almost like a parental child,
Yeah.
and then now, I mean, I still am, but like I tell my mom, I was like, I was a responsible kid back then. Now I'm really like gonna lash out because I can, and you guys are in a good spot, and I can.
Yeah.
So I
Like, we
feel
can
like
actually have an adult conversation. Yeah. But how about you, Matt? Like, what did you see any kind of like adjustment to your mom growing up to a different culture in Australia, obviously such a strong Vietnamese culture, and now understanding how Vietnamese mothers and aunties and all that kind of like operate? Did
right.
they or did your mom have to adjust to a certain way of like parenting?
As I mentioned before, I feel like I always had to be protective of them against Western society. Like she never really like made me feel like I had to be Australian, or I never really pushed the Vietnamese part of me away growing up. I just never embraced it as much as I do now. I saw how much work they put into to give me a great education. They never really like pushed me to do a certain job, or they never really pushed me to do anything that I didn't want to do. They were always kind of like, okay, you kind of have to figure it out. You If you like doing this, then you do it. If you don't, then it's
Yeah.
fine. But if I ever asked like I want to play cello, I want to do
Hmm.
singing lessons, doesn't matter. They kind of let
Yeah.
me learn things the hard way. So seeing my mum now compared to back then, she is in the best part of her life right now, and
Isn't it
I
great to
lit-
watch?
it's so great to watch. I
Yeah.
can't believe it. It's just like my mom calls me and tells me she did a presentation at school in
Slay.
English, and I'm just
Yes.
like, what the hell? Like you had a
Yeah.
PowerPoint and everything. What the hell? This is
You
not
didn't
some.
ask me.
Yeah, like you didn't ask me to have a look at it. I think it's these moments that like
Yeah.
I'll always cherish. I'll always
Yeah.
cherish it. We discussed it in the interview, but she always reminds me of like of going with the flow, of letting things happen.
Mm.
Fate will take care of us as long as we're good people. I want to ask you, like, what is some advice that your mom tells you that you kind of stick with every day and that resonates with you?
We have this phrase in Tagalog called "bahala ka na," being like, "Oh, what will come," kind of situation. I'm
Oh
like,
my
it is
god,
what it is.
that is
Or
crazy.
like,
That's
you
the
can do
same
it.
thing
Yeah,
that my mom tells me.
yeah. Just be like, whatever come what may situation. Like, you can't control fate.
It's literally the
Yeah,
same thing my mom tells me. She
yeah. It's
says,
just bahala ka na. It's all good. It's all good. It's like
"Oh my
up to you.
god, wait, I didn't know
Yeah,
that."
yeah. And it's just like it is. It is up to me. It is up to me to do whatever I want. It is like nothing. Again, we've discussed and how lucky we are that our parents are not restrictive of what we want to do. I mean, they were at some point because it was viewed through a lens of security, right? They wanted to protect us, so they were like, "We need to shield you from like the rest of the world because you're just a gay, confused child. You don't know it
Uh,
yet."
yeah,
um, so,
I'm
and
baffled
again,
that it's the same thing that my mom tells me. She says, "They do, hey, they do," which literally
which is translated to
is exactly the same as what you just said. Like whatever comes, comes, kind of thing.
yeah,
What are you most proud of your mom?
moving to a different country and like living the life that she has now. But also just not even the code switching when we go back to the Philippines, but she's literally the same person as
Hmm.
she is um, in the Philippines as she is now in Australia. Like she has not changed. Like obviously there's a few things that's changed in terms of like um, she's a bit more confident in her own self.
Mm-hmm.
but her essence and her essence as a human being is, and her core is very much the same. And
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of like nice to see, and then it's kind of inspiring to see that regardless of your environment, regardless of whatever, but or whatever influence happens, that you're sticking true to yourself. And I think that's the biggest takeaway that I can get from her, is that believe in yourself and just like, you know, carry yourself with grace and carry yourself with like elegance, and then everything else will kind of like flourish. And but don't ever change your core essence.
That's so
Yeah.
beautiful.
Working in Australia, you know, you accrue a bit more like things, right? But that
Yeah.
hasn't changed her. It actually has made her a bit more generous. Like, she understands coming from, we lived in the province. So moving to Australia, it's a different environment. Like, you know, you can, like, your food is literally laid out for you in a grocery store. But for us, it's either okay, I'm making it sound like we were living in the prehistoric age, but you either had to farm or like go to the market and like all this other stuff.
Oh yeah.
Like the wet market, but it's not easily as available. Or sometimes water is like would just stop and you have to like pump your own water situation. So it's a very like humble life. That hasn't changed her when she moved to Australia, or vice versa. Like she still understands the value of money, the value of like family, like all the really meaningful things as a human being. She still understands what that means, irregardless of like the wealth or the things she's like experienced in life. And it's like wonderful to see, because I'm like, that's exactly the kind of person I want to be when I go as far as, I don't know, traveling the world or like doing, you know, reaching the peak of my career. I'm still like the same person,
Yeah.
the same jungle kid.
Yes.
You know, hunting for fruit.
Yeah. I would say the same thing. I think after our interview yesterday with my mom in the car, she was like, I see how the way that you're growing up is very similar to her. Like
Mhm.
I was like, she was always a good kid, and no matter what she's going through at the time, we're still kind of the same person and just like a stronger version of ourselves. I like get closer and closer to her every single
Same.
day.
Yeah.
For the first time, like I had always told my friends or people that like my mom was like my best friend.
Mm.
And for the first time, I never really told it to her though. But then for the first time yesterday, she was like, I see our relationship like a friend more than like a mom and son. So I was
Yeah.
like, oh my God. Yeah. And I want to also acknowledge, like, you know, this is a Mother's Day episode, but this is meant to be an homage to every person in your life that
Yeah.
has raised you, an auntie, an uncle, a dad, or like all of all of the above, really.
Yeah.
But seriously, it's the person in your life that has raised you and
Yeah. Has
has.
made a huge impact on your life. Positive impact.
Should we get into you do or you don't?
Oh my God. Yes, let's do it.
This was a really hard one.
This was
We were trying to like figure out what to do, but okay. You do or you don't lie to your mum.
okay. Well, by default, I have to say yes, because we lied. I lied for her 21 years. But
were you really lying though?
I know, that's what I was thinking. I was like, is it really a lie, or is it more of something else? Oh man, that's rough, because like I should say no, but like yes to protect them, kind of thing.
Yeah.
If there are certain things that's happening, like that I know would induce a lot of stress on my mom, I'd be like, no, everything is fine. Like everything is good.
Yeah.
Like, but obviously, if my life's in danger, I'm not going to be like, I'm good. I'm definitely good. But it's because I know that she deals with stress really like heavily. She's such a huge empath that like anything that
takes
kind
it
of
on herself.
triggers, she'd like it like is in her and just be like would like cocoon and stuff. So
Yeah.
I'm like, I kind of try to adjust the truth.
Yeah.
Just a roundabout way of saying I'm lying.
You're lying.
Yeah. So the answer is yes.
It's a you do for you.
It's a you do for me.
I feel like it's a you don't for me.
Okay, saint, relax.
I'm like, we're both very honest to each other. I mean, I talk to my mom about my dating life and shit too, so I have
Yeah.
nothing to hide. Maybe the only thing I'll hide is like maybe if I go out for like if I'm going out.
Keep that to
She
yourself.
doesn't need to know that, but everything else, we're an open book, so it's a U-turn for me.
Okay. All right, Mother Teresa.
Thank you everyone for tuning in. We want to wish all the mothers a happy Mother's Day. I mean, this episode's going to come out afterwards, but we appreciate all that you do. You are just the light in our lives.
Yeah, it's definitely the strength that we get from you, how we can go about our day, is all I can say.
We'll be mothers one day.
Oh. I'm starting.
Yeah, you're wearing mother. You're mother right now.
I'm wearing mother clothing. Like this is apparently mother clothing.
No, you're giving Cam. You're giving Cam from
God.
Modern Family.
Yeah. I'm coming.
Well, thank you everyone. See you next episode. Bye.